Hi, second graders. This is Mrs. Gilmore. We're going to be starting on Lesson 19 today, which is a really challenging lesson. So I want you to remember our goals that we have for ourselves in our classroom. We never give up, remember? And we are not afraid of mistakes. We're going to learn from our mistakes, and I'm sure we'll make some mistakes today, so we'll have a lot to learn from. So this is Lesson 19, and Lesson 19 is all about learning how to do word problems that have two steps in them. So you can't actually solve the problem until you've done two separate steps. So I want you to take your student activity book now and turn to page 55 in your student activity book. Now on page 55, let's look at number 1 on page 55. This is a first example of a two-step word problem. So let's look at number 1. Let's read it together. Lindsay brings in 5 cans for the school food drive. Now remember, just like our other word problems, we're going to underline the important information. So I'm going to underline 5 cans for the school food drive. Olivia brings in 4 more cans than Lindsay. I'm going to underline that whole thing because that tells me I'm comparing Lindsay's amount and Olivia's amount. Matt brings in 6 more cans than Olivia, so I'm going to underline that. That's another comparison, but this time I'm comparing Matt's with Olivia's. How many cans does Matt bring? And I'm going to underline my question. This is what I'm trying to figure out. At the end of my problem, I'm trying to get the answer of how many cans does Matt bring? So what information does the problem ask for? The problem asks, how many cans does Matt bring in for the food drive? So before we can answer that question, we need to answer a different or a hidden question. So let's read the problem again and see if we can find the hidden question. So that kind of question is going to be a question that they don't actually ask you with a question mark, but they put enough information in there that you should be able to figure out the other question that you need to answer first before you can answer the actual question at the end of the word problem. So if I read that problem again, Lindsay brings in 5 cans for the school drive. Olivia brings in 4 more cans than Lindsay. Okay, well, right there, I know that Olivia brings in 4 more cans than Lindsay, but I don't know how much that is. I just know it's 4 more than Lindsay. So the question that I need to solve first is, how many cans does Olivia bring? Before I can answer the question at the end of the word problem, I have to figure out how many cans does Olivia bring. So I have Lindsay brings in 5 cans, and Olivia brings in 4 more than Lindsay. So I'm going to use some comparison bars for this part of this question. This is the first step of this question. So I'm going to put O for Olivia and L for Lindsay, and I'm going to make my comparison bars. Now I know Olivia brings in 4 more than Lindsay, which means Olivia's bar is going to be longer. Olivia has more than Lindsay does. So I'm going to make Olivia's bar the long one. I'm going to make Lindsay's a little shorter than that. Now, I don't know how much Olivia brought in. I just know she brought in 4 more than Lindsay. But I do know that Lindsay brought in 5. So I'm going to put 5 by Lindsay's amount. Then don't forget your oval that compares Lindsay's amount to Olivia's amount. And I know that Olivia brings in 4 more cans than Lindsay. So my 4 should go in my oval when I'm comparing my two amounts. I know the difference is 4. So 4 should go in my oval. And then I should be able to figure out now, how many cans does Olivia bring? I have Lindsay's 5 plus 4 more gives me Olivia's. So if I do my equation, 5 plus 4 equals 9. Now I know that Olivia has 9. And don't forget, I'm looking for the label of cans. So I'm going to put the label cans. So Olivia has, it says how many cans in my question. So I'm going to put Olivia has 9 cans. Now that I've figured out the first step of this problem, I can now go on to step number 2. So step number 2 is going to be the information that I need to solve based on what I know about Olivia's cans. The question at the end of this word problem says, how many cans does Matt bring? Well, now that I know that Olivia has 9 cans, I can look at my word problem again. And my word problem says Matt brings in 6 more cans than Olivia. I'm going to use some comparison bars again. And this time, I know Matt brings in more. So I'm going to put Matt's bar on top, and I'm going to put Olivia's bar on the bottom. Matt brings in more cans. We know he brings in 6 more cans than Olivia. I'm going to put Olivia's bar a little bit shorter, and then don't forget your oval to compare the 2 bars. And we don't know how much Matt brings in. That's the question, so I'm going to put my question mark there. But I do know that Olivia has 9 cans. That's from my first part of my problem. I'm going to put 9 in Olivia's bar, and then my difference is 6 cans more that Matt brings in. So I know Olivia's amount plus 6 more will give me Matt's amount. So I'm going to do my equation 9 plus 6 equals, and do 9 plus 6 right now for me. 9 plus 1 will get you to 10, and then you'll have to add 5 more. So that's 15. Now remember, we're asking how many cans, so our label is going to be cans again. So Matt has 15 cans that he brings in. Okay? So now you're going to go on to student activity. Page 56, and page 56 has another 2-step word problem. And you're going to read number 2, and you're going to look for the hidden question. What is the hidden question that you need to figure out first before you can answer the question at the end of the word problem, which is here? The hidden question is letter A that they show you there. And for this one, you're going to want to use some math mountains. So I would use a math mountain for the first one, and then a math mountain for the step 2. So here's step 1 of the word problem and step 2. I want you to try and solve that now on your own. And then you're going to go on to student activity book, page 57. Great job, guys. I know this is really challenging. You're doing a great job. So let's look at page 57 in your student activity book, and you're going to solve some 2-step problems here. So the first thing we want to figure out is, what is the hidden question? What is the hidden question we have to figure out before we can answer the question at the end of the word problem? So we're going to do number 3. So for number 3, let's read it together. Number 3 says, Mari has 17 tomatoes. That sounds important. I'm going to underline that. She uses 9 tomatoes to make a sauce. Then she makes a salad with 4 tomatoes. And the big question at the end is, how many tomatoes does she have left? Well, what is the hidden question in this word problem that we need to figure out before we can answer the final question? Well, we have Mari has 17 tomatoes, and she uses 9 tomatoes to make a sauce. Then she makes a salad with 4 tomatoes. The first thing we need to ask is, if we need to know how much she has left at the very end, then I need to know how much she used at the beginning for the sauce. That's the question I'm trying to figure out, is how much left after sauce. Okay, so now that I know what the hidden question is, I'm going to try and solve this hidden question first. And I'm going to use a math mountain to try and figure it out, because up here I see I have a total. I have 17 tomatoes altogether. So I'm going to put 17 at the top of my math mountain. And then at the bottom of my math mountain, I know that Mari uses 9 tomatoes. So that's one of my add-ins. And what I'm missing is my amount that's left after my sauce. So to figure out that amount, I can't do addition because I'm missing a number here. But I can use my subtraction and do 17 minus 9. So 17 minus 9 tomatoes, 17 tomatoes minus 9 tomatoes, gives me 8 tomatoes left after the sauce. Now that I've answered that part of the question, I can go on and figure out, well, if I use 4 tomatoes now, Mari uses 4 tomatoes. I had 8 tomatoes after the sauce. Now I'm going to use another math mountain. So I know my total number of tomatoes now is 8 on top. I know that I have to use 4 for my salad, and I want to know how many are left over. So I'm going to put my question mark for my other addend. Same thing that goes on this math mountain. I can't use my addition because I'm missing a number here. So I'm going to have to go from top to bottom and use subtraction. So 8 minus 4 gives me 4, and there's my answer. I know I have 4 tomatoes left, or Mari has 4 tomatoes left at the very end, and that's what the question asks, how many tomatoes? So make sure you use your label of tomatoes. Okay, you're going to go ahead and try and solve number 4, 5, and then on page 58 you're going to also answer number 6 and 7, doing the same thing, trying to find the hidden question first. And then on the bottom of this page, the very bottom of this page, is going to do some subtraction and adding practice for you. Go ahead and finish those student activity book pages and then come and bring them to Mrs. Gilmore to check when you're done.